Hi, and welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today's subject was presented to me by a couple of my subscribers. They asked me, can you make money buying and selling cars? And my response to that is yes, you can make money buying and selling cars. I've done it for many years, probably as long as I've been in business. If an opportunity comes along and you can buy it at a good price, then by all means you can buy it, repair it, and turn around and sell it for a profit. The key to making money with cars or flipping cars or anything is you have to buy it at the right price. If you can't buy it at the right price, there's really no reason to even purchase the car, because you're going to pay too much for the car. You're going to have to do some kind of repairs to the vehicle, because nobody gets rid of a vehicle that is a perfect car that needs absolutely nothing. So you know you're always going to wind up having to put money into the vehicle in order to bring it back, to get it to the point where you can sell it and you know, not rip somebody off, but you can sell it and make a profit and not have that person coming back to you and you know, creating a problem. The most important thing is you got to be able to buy it at the right price. Now, a lot of times you look online and you'll see the different websites that show you what the price of a vehicle would be. You cannot always go by that, because those websites, they have cars that are absolutely mint condition that they're telling you, and if you look at the description very carefully, what it tells you is that if you buy a vehicle and it's perfect, this is the price. But if it needs some minor repairs or updating or fixing to bring it back to its a perfect condition, that you have to deduct that out of the value. Now you may think, well, it's no big deal if it has a little dent here or a little dent there. But there is no such thing as a minor little dent. Today, when you have to repair a vehicle and you have to do the body work and then the painting, you can't just paint a little tiny spot. You've got to paint, most of the time, a fender, a door, or whatever the area is. So you have to take that into consideration. The next thing I would tell you to do is to make sure that the vehicle is in good condition. Get yourself a scan tool, and before you purchase the vehicle, connect into it, to the computer system, to find out, to make sure that there's no major failures inside the system. Because if you cannot communicate with a certain section of the ABS or the computer or transmission, or you have no communication whatsoever, that can be an extremely expensive repair. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that when you start the vehicle up, that the check engine light is not lit. Obviously, if the check engine light is lit, then the vehicle has got some problems, and you'll need to check it further to make sure that you can repair the vehicle yourself. Don't get into something that's going to be over your head. If you're going to buy a vehicle and it comes up with a code that's just an ABS sensor or something small like an evap leak or something small that you can take care of and repair it yourself and turn around and sell it for a profit, that's a good thing. But if you've got to bring the car in to have mechanics such as myself or somebody else do the repairs on the vehicle, you know that the repairs are going to be costly, and you're going to have to lay out additional funds. Now, unless you bought the vehicle at an extremely low price, you probably don't want to get into something like that, because it will wind up costing you a fortune if you have multiple codes. Now, I'll give you an example of a car that I bought not long ago. It was a Hyundai, and it was a Hyundai, not an Accent, it was a Hyundai Elantra. And when I went to look at the vehicle, I plugged my computer into. Now you're going to need to know this as well. When I plug my computer into it, I plug it in, and there's no codes whatsoever. It's all perfectly clear. It says no codes in there at all. But you need to go into the history to make sure that the vehicles were not recently cleared. And sure enough, this vehicle that I had to check out to purchase, I wound up offering the guy a considerably less money, because when I put the computer on it, sure enough, the vehicle itself had all the codes were just recently cleared out. And when you went in to see if when you connected into it to check to make sure that the O2 sensors and everything else had gone through drive cycles already, sure enough, when I looked at it, everything on there said incomplete, which I know that means that the owner of the vehicle just cleared the codes out of it, and there's going to be a problem. They clear the codes because they don't want you to find the codes. But if you go into the vehicle history and you find out that the vehicle just recently had the codes cleared, and you'll be able to tell, because you can go into historical data, it'll tell you in there that the O2 sensor, the catalytic converter, the evap system, all are not complete. And if they're not complete, it means they did not run a full cycle or a drive cycles, which can be pretty lengthy. It's not just getting in a vehicle and driving. It's sometimes a drive cycle can take you days to go through a complete drive cycles to find out what the failure was. So make sure that the codes were not cleared out. When I asked the guy, I said, what's going on? I said, well, you recently cleared these codes out of here. He denied it. He said, no, I never cleared them out of there. But when you look underneath the hood and you see that the battery is not a brand new battery, it's an old battery in the vehicle, and all the codes are now incomplete, then you know that the customer or the person you're trying to buy the vehicle from is most likely not telling you the truth. You don't want to buy a vehicle that says that the catalytic converter is incomplete, because if you have a converter that's incomplete, it can be a very costly repair. And the one that I bought, it really wasn't that expensive, so I actually lowballed the guy and got it for a very good price, because sure enough, once that vehicle completed all the drive cycles, it actually had 3 failures in it. It had the catalytic converter was failed, the cat was no good, the evap system had a small evap leak, and there was something else. I think it was a random misfire that was detected as well. So right off the bat, I wound up having to do coils on it. I had to do a catalytic converter on it, and I also lucked out with the evap system, because it was just a small broken vacuum line that led from the gas tank down into there. It had rotted away, and it was actually pulling an air through there. But it can be a very costly repair. So before you make an offer on a vehicle, that you look at the body, and if it looks like it's in mint condition but it has all these problems in it, you definitely want to do a little bit of research just to make sure what failures are in there. So the next thing you want to make sure is that you want to look at the body of the vehicle too, and make sure that the car was not involved in a very bad accident. You want to definitely look to see on the Carfax or any other kind of car history if the vehicle was in an accident. I had one of my friends who actually bought a car, and he bought it on eBay of all places. He buys the car and has it sent to him, only to find out that the title was not a clean title. It was actually a title that had been it was a salvage title. The vehicle was probably in a really bad accident. Somebody bought the vehicle, repaired it, and then the guy I know bought the vehicle. The problem with having a salvage title is if you have a salvage title on the car is worth probably half of whatever the vehicle is showing up on the reports, because nobody wants to buy a salvage vehicle, because you don't know how bad that vehicle was actually damaged. So my advice to you, if you're going to get into the business of purchasing a car, fixing a car, and selling the car, know what you're buying before you buy it, because the worst thing you can do is buy the car and find out all of these problems, and now you own it and you're going to have a problem. Alright, so that's my advice as far as buying and selling and flipping cars. Can you make a living out of it? Can you make money off of it? Yes, you can. I always, if I can buy a vehicle at the right price, I will buy it and do the repairs, obviously, myself, and turn around and sell it for a reasonable profit. Alright, so that's pretty much my opinion on buying and selling and flipping cars and all that kind of stuff. You can make a living doing it, but know what you're buying before you actually buy the vehicle. And that's it. Alright, so next, let me know what you think the next ride-along should be, and we'll talk about that, and I'll get your input to see what you think the next ride-along should be. So let me know what you think, and if I should continue these ride-alongs, and what subjects you'd like to talk about next. Alright, as always, thanks for watching, and drive safely. If you're in the car and you're talking to a camera, make sure you got your seatbelt on. Alright, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.